Hi, I'm Lori Seeley, functional medicine health coach, and today I'm going to sort of piggyback on last week's video. So if you missed last week's video and blog post, you can find that on my website. I link to it. It's the one, 5 signs you might have a parasite, okay? And this week is I have a parasite, now what? So first, for the now what is don't freak out. Okay. I don't mean to scare you talking about parasites. They're really not hard to get rid of once you know that you have them. And um and it's just like my point today is to and last week as well is to just like bring it to your attention so that you know that they're far more common than we're led to believe. Okay? It's just another thing that doctors tend not to talk about. They think that they're kind of taught that parasites are very, very rare, and it's just not true. They're like really common, actually. So you can get a parasite by eating undercooked meat. So I know that myself personally, I used to have a medium rare steak like at least a couple times a year. And I know a lot of people who have medium rare steak far more often than that. And it's very possible that some little live creatures are in there and you're just eating them and taking them into your body and they're setting up shop in there, you know? Also, sushi. Sushi, I eat sushi all the time, and I'm not going to stop eating sushi because I'm afraid of parasites. You know what I do? I do a parasite cleanse a couple times a year. And I feel great. So, um, also, if you have pets who spend time outside, or if you walk barefoot outside, you know, these are all good things to do. I want you to have pets. I want you to ground yourself on the earth with your bare feet and like, especially like on the grass or in the sand. It's really good for you. And also you can pick up a lot of beneficial bacteria that way. Like it's really good, but it's also a way to pick up parasites. And see, some parasites are microscopic. We don't see them, we don't feel them, but they're burrowing into our skin and setting up shop in our bodies. Now, sometimes when you get a parasite, it's going to cause flu-like symptoms and vomiting and diarrhea, or diarrhea at first, but sometimes there's no noticeable symptoms at all. And then later on, we develop headaches or joint pain or a little bit of diarrhea or constipation, fatigue that kind of becomes normal for us. These are all complaints that can be explained away as totally something else. You know, like we think, oh, yes, I'm getting joint pain. You know, I must be developing arthritis. Well, a lot of times, you'll read in the blog for this week, a lot of times arthritis is caused by parasites because they'll set up shop in they like hang out in the little sac and they go into the joints and create inflammation there. And that can also create deterioration in your joints as well, but it's caused by parasites. Think about that. So if you want to get tested for parasites, if this is like freaking you out, which don't get freaked out, it's easy to test for, or even like I tested for it and I did all this stuff, but you don't necessarily have to do the test if it seems like too expensive for you, because the treatment for it the one treatment that I know about that it's pretty easy, it's not that expensive and very painless, and it's good to do. Like I do it a couple times a year just for good measure. And so yeah, just take this information and do with it what you will. I'm not giving you advice, but that's what I do. Anyway, so you can get tested for parasites. There are some very good tests out there that can help you. And if you want to get in touch with me, I can hook you up with one. These tests they look not only for parasites, but also they measure levels of beneficial bacteria and other things that are supposed to be in the colon. And you can see like like maybe you're just testing, you're curious if you have parasites or not, but then you're also going to find out a lot of other information, um, like your level of bacteria that are, how they're balancing out in your colon. And so then you'll be better informed as to maybe what probiotics you should be taking, because some of them are higher in lactobacillus than bifidobacteria, and maybe you want the other way around. So when you see those results from your test, that's going to help you out too. So there are reasons to do those tests, and that's actually why I did it, was not specifically to test for parasites, but to know like what the balance of all of the stuff was in my colon. So these tests are they're good to do. So I think when I did it, it was about $250. So I mean, I didn't think it was that expensive because I thought it was really important. So that's totally up to you to decide. So yeah, and I do at least one, sometimes two yearly parasite cleanses, usually right after a colon cleanse. So what happens is, like, sometimes we need to cleanse the colon. We get like caked on gunk on the outside of the colon that is impairing our ability to absorb nutrients, and it can also like just sort of slow things down. It can also impair our ability to kill foreign invaders. And so what you want to do is just clear out the colon first before you're going to do a parasite cleanse. Don't just go right into a parasite cleanse, because the dead parasites are going to they're going to create toxins flowing in your body where they weren't before. It's going to kind of make you feel bad. And if you don't have a way to get rid of that stuff, it's going to be worse than it needs to be. So you want to clear out your colon before you do any sort of a parasite cleanse or like a candida cleanse or whatever you're doing. Okay. So yeah, it allows the foreign invaders to have a clear shot out the back door. And then killing and expelling the parasites is very much more comfortable and easy. So for my candida warriors out there, a slow or congested colon might be part of your problem. In a healthy and well-functioning colon with a good high level of stomach acid and balanced gut bacteria, parasites are like zapped up and expelled pretty easily. But how do we get candida, right? We get candida by making a hospitable environment for it in the gut with low stomach acid and out of balance level or low levels of beneficial bacteria. And so that's the kind of environment that's also ideal for hosting parasites. And it's unlikely to be a place where, once introduced, those parasites would be disposed of the way they should be. So what I'm saying is that, especially for those of you out there who also have candida, you have an environment in your gut that's hospitable to candida. That same environment is going to be also hospitable to parasites. Okay, if your gut were healthy and things are working the way they're supposed to, some parasites can thrive, but most of them are just going to get zapped up and flushed out your back door, right? But most of us are not functioning that way. Most of us actually need help with that because we're constantly getting bombarded with Monsanto products, really. Like, and so if we're always eating pesticides, even though like we try to eat organic as much as we possibly can, you have to know that there are so many things that have pesticides in them, including organic wine. Who'd have thunk? Just because it's in the groundwater, and like not all I heard this a couple weeks ago, that there are organic farms that are organic wineries, but they're next to non-organic wineries, right? And so the groundwater gets contaminated with pesticides, and the organic grapes have pesticides in them, even though nobody ever sprayed them with it, right? And so that's happening. If that's happening with wine in wineries, it's very possible that that could be happening also with our organic farms that are maybe, you know, just that, like a, you know, a certain distance away from a regular farm that's using pesticides. You know, the organic farms should be really be called the regular farms. That's why I said that. But so if they're close to a farm that's using pesticides, like it's coming in the wind, it's still getting sprayed on their crops, and also the groundwater is contaminated with it. So with all the pesticides that we're eating, we're killing our gut bacteria. And so, of course, like for anyone, like most of us just don't have the kind of gut health that would be ideal. I went off on a little tangent there. I'm sorry. So, of course, there's a lot of gut repair that we need to do to be fully free of parasites. So there's more to the process than simply taking medication to kill the parasites. So maybe you've had an experience where you've killed parasites only to find that pretty soon after that you got infected with a new one, or maybe you just didn't get them all, right? So along with taking something to target and kill parasites, we need to focus on gut repair and eating tons of organic vegetables and drinking a lot of water, right? So I'm going to share with you the product that I use for myself when doing a parasite cleanse. It's called Parafree. I'm going to show it to you right here. It's called, now I have to move this so I can see what's going on, so I can see what you can see. Okay, so it's called Parafree from Young Living. It says essential oil supplements, okay? So that's formulated with, it's formulated with an advanced blend of some of the strongest essential oils studied for their cleansing abilities. And I just use it according to the instructions on the Young Living website, and it works great. I've seen this work from my clients. I've seen it work for myself. It's a pretty good product. And I've heard stories like of people with pinworms and blood flukes who've tried pharmaceuticals, herbs, everything. And then when they used Parafree, they were finally able to clear it up. So from what I can see and what I've experienced myself, this stuff really works. Of course, there's also a very specific diet that goes along with cleansing the body of parasites, and some really targeted things that you can do for gut repair. And that's something that a naturopath or a functional medicine health coach like me can help you with. So you guys, if you want to talk to me about your personal health, you know, go ahead and comment right here on the video and be sure to tag me so that I'll see it. Or make a comment on this week's blog post, or send me a private message on Facebook. I'm happy to start a conversation with you and help you out however I can. So I linked this week's blog post and last week's blog post in the notes because they're kind of tied together. I also linked to my calendar. So if you're having issues with your health and you're having trouble fighting it, and you are interested in having a private one-on-one conversation with me to see if I can provide like another view on things for you, maybe help you out, then follow that calendar link and set up a session with me. And as always, if you have any comments or questions on the video, please tag me in them so I'm going to see them, okay? All right, so that's it for me for this week, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.